Shalom family, Shemane Laya. Thank you for joining me at Unsectarian Wisdom, and as usual, I'm a healthy, wise, strong, protected, celestial being that is loved by the Most High Creator. How y'all doing this evening, family? Well, at least it's evening where I'm at right now. Look, we just about to have an impromptu shoot from the hip session. I was watching a video this AM from Brother Condrop Station. Some of y'all might be familiar with him. I'm gonna put the URL to his YouTube channel underneath this video, but he posted a video today about the Antarctica ice walls, right? And it just got me thinking, and it's really nothing that we haven't necessarily talked about, you know, or anything really new, but I just kind of want to take you down this thought process that I had today, because it was just interesting. But just follow me, and y'all want to if y'all have any input you want to put in, you know, put in the comment section, you know, share with the fans. Probably because I mentioned Antarctica, though, that they might turn the comments off in this video, at least the live chat comments. So if you have a comment, if you want to say something, don't put in the live chat comment while the video is running, because this video, if you watching it, I'm not live. I always do my videos pre-recorded. So put the comment in the comment section if you have something to add. Because it's more likely that it'll show up there. But even then, now lately they've been deleting comments or blocking them from there, man. YouTube blocking everything. Anyway, so let me just go ahead and get into it. And I'm gonna start off with the Con drop video that Brother Con drop posted today. So first and foremost, fair use. You know, make sure it don't get taken down. We're gonna look like a minute 30 seconds of it. Something like that, maybe a little bit more.
Start thinking about a dismal out here. You know, we've been talking about Antarctica. It would seem that as recent as the Middle Ages, Antarctica was free of ice. As recent as the Middle Ages. So all these maps, like the one in the British Museum, all that, Antarctica will have no ice then. And our Nagas would be traveling to and fro, set up, you know, Holy Land is popping off. It would seem that the temperature of this part of the world changed around the same time as the Little Ice Age. Descended on Europe, descended everywhere. They came over here and found colder temperatures than in Europe because they were in a freezing cold. Hence the glaciation lines go to the drop. Antarctica became covered with ice. And we talked about their magic for a reason. Their spells wasn't powerful enough to freeze stuff over like this. Is this Hawaii's doing? Hawaii's magic. A lot is going on right here, man. We're just getting the drop. This is the reflection.
All right, so with that said, family, so as I was listening to the video, like I said, we're not gonna listen to the whole thing because, you know, that's about the video. I'm gonna put the URL to the rest of it. It's not a long video. It's like 3 minutes and something. But I want to share that part because it take me back to this map right here, right, family. And I was thinking, right, because he says some crucial things. And like I said, this is stuff that if you've been watching my videos, we've been over before. But like I said, I just had a little I was coming at it from a different direction this day, right? When I think about stuff, I usually start from the middle, from here. Everything started here, right? But the more I've been doing studying lately, the more things have been coming out, you know, diving deeper. You know, and I'll put it like this. In order to get what do they say, family? What's the best way to really, truly understand a situation? Is to take yourself out of the situation, take your emotions out of it, and act like someone on the outside viewing the situation, right? So someone who is partial to the situation, doesn't have no stake in the game, don't have no emotions about it, so you're more able to look at something more clearly and logically. So Brother Khan has said some key words. He said magic, right? And he said became ice. So supposedly we know, especially watch this channel or other channels who talk about things like this, there's this map where it's supposedly a map of the old world before the ice wall, before a map of the old world before Antarctica was covered in ice, right? So here's my thought process. This is where the first place I went with this. Is I remember reading in the Colburn Bible, right? Matter of fact, there was some talk a few years back when I don't know if it happened when Trump got sworn in too, but I know it was talked about when Biden got sworn in. I know there was some talk about it during Obama, that the Bible that they put their hands on when they prayed wasn't the Bible, the King James Bible, that it was actually the Colburn Bible, right? I don't know if y'all familiar. I've read, if you watching this video not familiar with the Colburn Bible, pause the video, look it up real quick. I've read a few chapters on my page, on this YouTube page, so you can go back and look at those videos if you want. But anyway, in the Colburn, it mentions that our ancestors, right, were nomadic people, and that the earth, or planes, or different planes or dimensions like the earth with trees and stuff, right? It was never meant for us to sit in one place forever or necessarily too long. We're meant to continually move and travel, live off the land like nomadic people. Although as people, we do the opposite today. We set up shop, and we stay places forever, for generations, for hundreds, for thousands of years if we can, right? If the land persists, especially the land persists to produce food, right? But the Colburn explained how, we were nomadic, and a lot of times people would travel as long as the land was good, but then famine would come, or, their crops would fail, and then they'd end up having to move. But anyway, like I said, we were a traveling people. So it kind of took me to this thought process of, kind of logically speaking, let's say maybe back in the day, thousands, hundreds of thousands of years ago, who knows how long, right? And matter of fact, this kind of comes into play with the Terra Infinita. You guys know the Terra Infinita map that I have in my background. If you looked at my other videos we talk about, right? And it shows all the different lands. So let's say that map is real, and space isn't what we've been taught. It's not a vacuum. It's not an empty, dark vacuum, but space is actually, because remember, space is like the space in my room right now, family. There's space all around you. Space doesn't have to be a vacuum. Space is just open space. You can put boxes there. You can put equipment there. You can stand in open space. It's just space. It's just on how you look at it, But let's say space is actually the ocean. It's not what we've been taught, like Star Trek and Star Wars, and it's this huge black vacuum, and you fly through it with spaceships and it's weightless. No, space is actually the ocean, right? So let's say that was the case, and thousands of years ago our family had, and they weren't rolling in flying ships yet. Let's say they had, or maybe they were, but let's just say they weren't. Let's just say they were in ships, maybe more advanced ships than we had now, right? Or maybe something like we had now, or maybe something from like the 1800s or 1700s or 1600s. Either way, they had ships. And as explorers do, or travelers, they usually stop at the first land they come upon. So if you look at our land where we are now, like here's North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, all that good stuff, right? It's inside of a ring. So let's say when our ancestors first got here, because, there's this whole thing. You guys have probably heard, we've talked about it probably on this channel before, I believe, or you've heard in other channels where people talk about, it's been mentioned that everyone on Earth is actually aliens themselves. We're actually extraterrestrials because our ancestors came here from faraway lands. So let's just say that's the truth. So let's say our ancestors came on ships from other lands, and obviously what's the first thing they're going to run into? They're going to run into the ice wall, because the ice wall is surrounding the inlands, right? So let's say nothing was here at first. Everyone started the ice wall. So what is the first place they're going to populate? They're going to populate the ice wall. Or back then, not the ice wall, but they're going to populate the ring. And then, so let's say maybe, possibly, at some point, like when Brother Khan was saying in the video, he said it was in the 1500s, in the medieval ages, all of a sudden, there was something happened to where ice started covering all of Antarctica. Some catastrophe, like, we talk about resets and stuff like that. Always some type of cataclysm. So let's say maybe there was some type of cataclysm, right? And so what happened is everyone on the rings fled the rings and went inland because the ice didn't go inland. So let's say that's a possibility. So I'm just pointing out that there's a possibility that, once again, maybe we didn't even necessarily start in the garden. All this, I'm saying, this is just what we've been told. Remember, the everything that we've been told. You got at some point, family, got to be honest with yourself that it might not to say it's all a lie, but it's told in a certain context to where it's deceiving. Like, there's truth and lies to what we've been told. Like, for instance, this is supposed to be the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve. It's not to say that Adam and Eve aren't real, but maybe Adam and Eve, once again, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us heard this, they weren't the first people. But they were seeded here after a catastrophe, after these ice walls melted. Maybe Adam and Eve were seeded here, or even before that, they were seeded here. Just go with me, like I said. So anyway, so a catastrophe came, the ice walls melted, everyone on the ice walls moved inland. And then that also brings me back to once again, right? Magic. What did they say? It was magic, right? He said magic. But then that brings me back to this. Remember I told you guys I saw this this movie right here recently? Aquaman 2 and the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, right? And if you haven't seen the movie, I'm not gonna go deep and do no spoilers. I'm just gonna tell you. Remember, I told you guys that in this movie, even in the beginning, they showed images of ice falling off the ice wall in Antarctica, like the ice is melting. And then when you get into the movie, it explains the story about how Atlantis went to war with another kingdom, but there was a catastrophe that happened, and that kingdom ended up being covered in ice. It wasn't ice, but a spell. A spell went wrong. It was too powerful, and it ended up being covered in ice. But now in Aquaman, hundreds, thousands of years later, now all of a sudden the ice is melting, and that kingdom that's been buried under the ice all this time from an ancient war is now being uncovered. And one of their reasonings for it is global warming, right? It's making the ice melt. So just want to keep that in mind. Like I said, they put the truth in front of us all the time, fam. We're just trying to put the pieces together, right? So now let me go back. So I just want to bring that up. Aquaman already has a scenario of, like I said, the ice is melting. There's a city under the ice. Brings me back to this, like I said. And even on this map, you see, look, it said it's showing life. That there was life before on these lands, on the ice walls. Right? There was life. But then all of a sudden, like in Aquaman, there was some type of catastrophe, some war, and they had magic back then, and the magic caused ice to overwhelm everything. So then everyone did what? They moved inland, or they went back outside the ice walls to other lands, right? Matter of fact, while we're talking about that, let me go to this video right here. I'm going to skip forward. Let's start right here, family. So, bear with me.
Normal, white, or clear ice. So I asked my friend where they get the sky ice from, and he said it comes from the wall. I don't remember exactly how he described it, but apparently there's a huge wall of sky ice in Antarctica. He said it was hundreds of miles inland from the coast. I never got to see it myself because I was only, skip forward, stationed to McMurdo. I didn't get to go out on expeditions. He said it was the biggest natural structure in the world. Imagine that. He said that in the 1960s, the U.S. Army had a plan to bore a tunnel into the wall, but they didn't have a boring machine that could handle the super cold temperatures, so they had a whole testing project in Greenland where they developed ice tunnels and invented new boring machines that could operate in super cold temperatures. So this was back when they were going into forming NASA and all the other things that were kind of strange, the Antarctic Treaty, around that time, pretty close to it. And he says, like they did this whole big thing in Greenland for just practice. So it was like they were practicing to bore into the sky ice. I'm not an expert on that, but that's just what he told me. Then, once they had the new boring machine figured out, they brought it to the ice wall, or to the wall in Antarctica. He said that the machine bored a tunnel, I don't remember exactly, it was like 5 or 10 miles into the wall, but that they never broke through the other side of the wall, and that they still don't know how thick the wall is, even to this day. And I'm probably not remembering this part correctly, but I think he said that at first the floor of the tunnel was solid rock, but after a mile or two in, the floor was sky ice, like it was sky ice underneath after a certain point, or something like that. And apparently the wall slowly builds itself back up. So it slowly builds itself back up after you cut it, because after a year or so, the tunnel had shrunk smaller all by itself, like a self-healing wound. It starts closing up. They had to leave the boring machine inside the wall because the tunnel shrunk too small to get it back out. And after a few decades, the tunnel was completely gone, like the part of the wall was solid again. He said that now the scientists were trying to use technology to figure out how thick the wall is. He said something about putting earthquake sensors all along the...
Okay, we're going to stop it there, family. So anyway, the key words, I showed you that's why I skipped forward in that video, was because I wanted him to speak about the sky ice. And you hear how the ice, he said that they said the ice word, that after a while, the ice itself actually grows back, like it's a living entity, aka magic. And what did Brother Khan just read about? He read about magic. He read about, what did he say? He said some type of magic caused the ice to start growing in Antarctica, right? And if you've seen Aquaman 2, once again, you remember in the movie, the reason that city during the war was covered was because of accident with magic. It was a magical accident, right? And because of that magic, the area was covered with ice, right? Okay. So let's say that's the case. Now, in reality, whether this happened on purpose, because someone did it on purpose to trap people inside, or if it was a catastrophe from the Most High. I mean, everything's by the will of the Most High, but either way, I'm trying to give you two different scenarios. I don't know which one for sure, but anyway, so once again, so now I'm thinking about all this stuff, and then it brings me to, I start thinking about, let's go back, like images like this, right? We should all be familiar with these images that they've tried to, that we've seen, right? Artist renditions of what Atlantis looked like back in the day, right? The circular cities. Let me show you some more. Give me a second. Right? Hold on. Like, yeah, like we have these artist renditions. And we never really ask ourselves, okay, where did they get this information from? Who's drawing these pictures? Right? And even if you go look it up and it says, oh, this artist made this picture. I mean, do you really know if they did or not? You know what I'm saying? So, see this? Once again, if you're familiar with studying Atlantis, you should be familiar with these type of pictures. These ring type pictures, right? So, as I'm looking at these today, as I'm listening to Brother Khan and thinking about these pictures, it just kind of dawns on me, right? I start thinking about also these pictures. You ever seen these type of pictures like this, family, where they draw the earth in this kind of cartoonish way, right? Where they make it seem a lot smaller than it really is. Like on this picture, if you didn't know no better, maybe you're a child, you might think that these are like islands in the Hawaiian chain or something. Like they're all local islands in the same local area, right? They make the world look, or the earth look so smaller look way more smaller than it really is, right? This is why, once again, the Bible says, why does the Bible say, don't make any pictures of things in heaven? But that really kind of goes in general. When you draw pictures of things, there's always this, what's the word? There's always this threat that these pictures can be taken as idols. They can be misconstrued to deceive people. Like someone could draw a picture 500 years ago, they pass away, and then 500 years later, someone digs it up out of the ground and see the picture, and that picture serves as something to mislead that person to assume that the world or a certain aspect of history was this way, when in reality it was just a drawing done by a child. You know? But anyway, so I just want to say that. So that pictures like this, right? Like I said, it makes the earth look real small. So like I said, to an ignorant eye, someone might think, oh, okay, so what island chain is this? Where's all these islands at? This must be some island chain, because everything looks so close. This must be a city, and they got, buildings everywhere, right? Or let me do another example. Or this right here. Here's another one. You see how it makes it look like the world is really small? It's smaller than it really is, but we know it's a lot bigger, and it doesn't look this close. Like you see how Atlantis has a bridge over to Africa, right? Or it's just right here touching Asia, right here touching America. Like, think about it, right? They're making the world seem smaller, right? And here's kind of another one, in a way, making the world seem smaller, like it's like a local area. Like it's not as big as it really is, right? Okay, so as I'm looking at this, I start to think. Remember, the Bible, they talk about the Bible being written allegories. A lot of stuff is allegories, family. A lot of stuff is to throw us off. A lot of stuff is to play games. A lot of stuff is for the wise to research and find them out. Like it says, study to make yourself approved, right? So I started to think, family. So remember, think about how, like I was just saying a second ago, look at how it's portrayed to us, right? How images can trick the mind. But then I started to think that maybe, what if when you look at images like these, right? What if actually this picture is an allegory? What if the middle is actually representation of Earth, right? Where we are. Of the 6 Earth and the 6 main continents we live on. 7 we're told in school, the 7th being Antarctica, which obviously no one lives on except for researchers, but then they go back to their home state that we know of. Anyway, so let's say maybe this represents Earth. And this right here represents the first ring. This represents Antarctica. And this represents another ring, right? Keep following me, right? So let's keep going. Right? I'm trying to see if y'all see the comparison where I'm going with this, okay? So there we are. There's the first ring, Antarctica. All right, hold on. Give me a second. See, there's Earth, Antarctic ring. Here's another one. What if this, once again, family, think about it. What if this picture is really an allegory? Like I said, so maybe the truth, truly, once again, the truth has been in front of us this entire time. But you have to put the research in. You have to search, right? Study, make yourself approved. The Most High gives wisdom to those who search matters out. You know what I'm saying? A wise king searches a matter out. Searches a matter out and wears a crown as wisdom, right? All right, now look at this, the Terra Infinita map. What do we have here, right? We've got Earth, where we are, then the Antarctic ring, and bam, there's another ring. Here we go again, see? Earth, Antarctica, or maybe Earth, all this right here, Antarctica, and then another ring. See, family, I hope y'all understand what I'm saying, that allegory. And then remember, this is another ring of land right here, Anunnaki lands and stuff right here on the side that I should have brought the bigger picture, but I didn't. But you get what I'm saying, right? Earth in the middle, Antarctic ring, third ring, fourth ring. Earth, Antarctic ring, third ring, fourth ring. And then another one. Or Earth, Antarctic ring. Either way, y'all get the family, you get what I'm saying? Maybe this picture is really an allegory. So basically my point is where I'm coming, that maybe all of this truly, like for instance, look, I've made the comment before that Atlantis obviously was a big kingdom from what we read. And what do big kingdoms do? They colonize other kingdoms, right? So obviously they have colonies. So I always say, man, you're always looking for the city of Atlantis. How do you know there weren't multiple cities that were part of Atlantis? Like you're looking for this one area, think, oh, it's in this spot in the Pacific or in this spot in the Atlantic, or it's over here in Africa. Well, first off, Atlantis was an empire. How do you know Atlantis didn't have multiple cities, right? Or how do you know Atlantis wasn't just all of this, right? This entire circle. How do you know all of this doesn't land under the empire of Atlantis? Or even further, right? How do you know all of this isn't Atlantis itself? Once again, coming back to here, allegory. How do we know that this is not an allegory for the earth, for the ice walls that's been in front of our face the entire time, right? So, but then that also brings me to this, right? So then that comes back to like what Brother Khan said, and how something happened in the Middle Ages to where Antarctica was simply at that point covered in ice, right? So what happened then? So then I thought about, okay, you know, and I've talked about in the past, like the ice wall is a spell, and that the ice wall also as well is probably like almost like a time spell, where time goes, it moves faster for here. That's why we age faster. That's why we don't live as long as the Bible says we should be living, because the ice wall has cast a spell over the land that causes us to die earlier, right? But then, you know, we got all these UFO exposures or UAP exposures lately and things of that nature. And once again, going on this rabbit hole. So what's outside of the ice wall? And I started to think that maybe, what if, family, that actually the truth is we're like in an ant farm. We're almost like an ant farm to where the ice wall is to keep us in, right? What if all this isn't, okay, so what if all this really is Atlantis? And what's actually happened is Atlantis, our ancestors, for the sake of study, for the sake of entertainment, for the sake of scientific knowledge and furthering their knowledge scientifically, right, spiritually and physically, they caused this ice wall to form around the lands in the center, right, blocking off this center world from the rest of the real world, right, or the real plane of existence, right? So, and then what's happened is we've been lied and told that, oh, you know, we live on this globe and this spinning globe and there's nothing else. Remember growing up, oh, we don't know if there's any other life out there. It's really just us. There's no other species out there. We're the only known species in the universe. We're just lucky to be here on Earth. It just happened. There's no other planets or that have any life on it like us. What if all that's a lie, right? And this ice wall was purposely put here by a spell by the Atlanteans to study us, or Anunnaki, whatever, I don't know. Or maybe it wasn't on purpose. Maybe, like I said, maybe it was an accident, but at the end of the day, accident or not, they left us in here, right? They left us to our own vices, trapped within this ice wall, right? So, hold on, I kind of lost my plane. So, in other words, maybe what we're truly in a way is, like I said, family, where, oh, once again, there's a movie called The Beach. I brought this up. And The Beach is where this family goes on a vacation, and they go to the beach and they get stuck on the beach and they can't leave it. And what happens is every hour they age. So within 24 hours, most people on this beach die because they age real quick. They age to be old people. Look it up. It's called The Beach. These family go on a vacation to a resort. They get trapped on the beach and they die because they literally grow old within 24 hours and die. They basically, what would usually take us, like I said, 80, 90, 100 years, 60 years, whatever, to die, day after day after day, they're literally aging in like a matter of 24 hours. And they literally grow old on the beach and die. Like there were people who showed up on the beach as teenagers, and by the time they left the beach, they were old. They were adults. They were old people, right? Some people aged out. It was because there was some type of spell or something going on the beach. So anyway, so let's say that's what we're in right now. We're in some type of, I don't know, some type of research experiment, right? In the Middle Earth. And this is nothing that came to me. Middle Earth. What's it called? Middle Earth. Lord of the Rings. Middle Earth, right? We're in the middle. And the reason I bring that up because a lot of these stories and stuff, family, here, it's like, where do people get this information from? It's not just coming from their imagination. It might be coming from their imagination, but they're really, or what they call imagination, are really downloads. People telling people, like Mr. Tolkien, who did, I believe his name was J.R. Tolkien, who did Lord of the Rings. He got downloads. And people said it's imagination, but it was really entities giving him downloads of what the earth is, or what the earth is really like, or what the real world actually looks like. It's not a globe. And he, in his mind, interpreted that as Middle Earth, as a Lord of the Rings saga, right? So, anyway, let me keep going. So, my thought process now is this. What if we are in a live action version of, it's already that, the movie is a live action anyway, but a live action version of the Truman Show. We're all in the Truman Show. What if truly there are aliens on the outside as we're sitting here in life suffering, going through all this garbage, going through all this craziness that's here, these wars, World War I, World War II, possibly World War III coming up, Civil War, all types of stuff. But the aliens are entities on the outside, the extraterrestrials, Atlanteans, maybe. What are they doing? They're just sitting here watching us, and unbeknownst to us, we don't know nothing about it. We just sitting here going through the motion. We've been lied to. What have we been told? This is literally like the Truman Show, family. Right? We're just sitting here, right? In the middle, thinking that this is all there is. And that we're in a spinning rock in the middle of space, when in reality, there's all this. But here's the thing. Everyone else on the outside knows it but us. Because they're all studying us. Right? Like, if you watch, once again, you watch channels like mine and people researching this stuff. And what do they say? Sometimes the aliens say a lot. They say, man, you guys don't understand how really advanced you are. How much power you really have, or how special you truly are. Because we don't, because we've been lied to, right? And then even, once again, they've been telling us, but then it brings me back to like this show right here. Attack on Titan. If anyone familiar with this, and what is the premise of the show Attack on Titan? These people are living in Maria. They live in a land called, I forget. No, is it called Maria? I forget what it's called. Dang it. I think it's I think they live on an island called Saint Marigles. But they live they live within these walls, right? If you watch the Attack on Titan show, the anime, you know what I'm talking about. And these people think that these people who live in these cities and these walls in this anime called Attack on Titan, they live behind these walls right here because in the outside world there's giants that eat people. So they can't go outside the walls, otherwise they'll be killed and eaten by giants. So they live their entire existence within these walls, right? And these people believe that, here's another image of it. And the people that live in these walls believe that there's no other human life outside of these walls. They believe that long ago all the giants killed and ate all the humans that were left in the world, right? So they're living in these walls ignorant, right? They don't know what's going on. Until one day they find out that actually they're prisoners on an island, and on a small island, and that there are other larger continents out in the world with billions of other people, with other countries. And those other countries want to kill these people or delete them. They're called the Marlians, right? They're called Marlians, and they're from the island of, they're from the nation of Marley, because the people of Marley have something in their blood that makes them special from the rest of the world. They have something in their blood that the people don't realize, that they could also turn into giants themselves. So that's kind of like, well, anyway, my point is, that's almost like an allegory of what I'm talking about right now, family, right? Is that in real life, Attack on Titan, you see the circles, Atlantis, once again, see? Atlantis, Marley, aka Atlantis, Middle Earth, where we are, the walls, right? All that is really an allegory for where we are now. We're being kept in by entities or extraterrestrials. And if you gone through my Terra Infinita readings, you know, those books speak about there's giants. Yes, there are giants out here. We hear about giants all the time. So once again, family, there's truth in everything they're telling us. You just have to do the research and have an open mind to look it out. But anyway, that's pretty much what I was on today, family. And I wanted to share that with y'all because I thought that was kind of interesting, just to kind of think about things from that perspective. And maybe, you know, I've given somebody, you know, watching this a little more different perspective themselves, to look deeper. But now I'm thinking more like, yeah, family, we're in the Truman Show. Now that's like a deeper meaning to me of the Truman Show. Attack on Titan. Oh, and also remember, like, well, I did explain it. Remember in the Attack on Titan anime, the people thought that they were the only humans on Earth left. They didn't know that there were any other humans. They thought the giants ate everybody. They didn't even know that there was other continents out there. They didn't know there's a whole other world. They thought their island or their land was the only land there was. But they weren't allowed to leave the walls of their cities, so they weren't able to go to the ocean. They couldn't see anything else, right? So keep that in mind. Just like us, we've been told that this is it, that this is all there is, right? But in reality, there's really all of this. So we are in an episode of Attack on Titans, family, and we're waiting for the giants to come through the ice wall. Matter of fact, well, what's Game of Thrones? Remember Game of Thrones in the land of the North, right? And what happened? They had giants in the North. Remember, giants ended up attacking the wall and stuff in Game of Thrones, right? Just saying, family, they put the truth in everything. There are giants outside of the ice wall. Shoot, there's giants in here too. I believe it. Anyway, family, I'm done. Thank you for joining me, your brother Elijah, at Unsectarian Wisdom. And as usual, I'm a healthy, wise, strong, protected, celestial being that is loved by the Most High Creator. I hope y'all enjoyed that, family. I hope we share. Oh, also, before I go, you see how in this picture, Hades Bridge, right? Look at this, Hades Bridge. See the circle? Okay. Keep that in mind. Hades Bridge. This is the Terra Infinita map. What is this? It's 1111. Look at this. See? Earth, right? Antarctica. Earth, Antarctica, outer wall. Hades Bridge. Allegories, family. There's a bridge to the outside world, maybe. Is that what it's saying? Is that there's a bridge to the outside world? Possibly, right? Possibly, I would think, right? A bridge. Matter of fact, I think there's another one, too. Well, this ain't a bridge, but it's an opening, right? Let's go back. See? Compared to the last picture. Is there one on here, too? Yeah. But anyway, I just want to show you all the similarities, family. Anyway, be blessed, family. Shalom. Catch you later.